People are selfish. People are fake. People are stupid. People are sheep. People only care about themselves. You have heard those sentences your entire life. Maybe you have even said them yourself. In fact, you probably do not have to think very hard before somebody specific pops into your head right now. Maybe it is politicians. Maybe it is people online. Maybe it is your coworkers. Maybe it is your neighbors. Maybe it is that guy who cut you off in traffic last week. Whoever it is, one thing is usually crystal clear. They are the problem. But there is something incredibly strange about all these statements, because the people saying them are people too. Think about it. Everybody complains about people. Everybody. It is one of the most common things human beings say. But nobody ever stops to ask the obvious question. Who exactly are these people? Because if you ask almost anyone on Earth, they will tell you they are not one of them. They are reasonable. They are thoughtful. They are trying their best. They are one of the good ones. They are not the problem. Everybody else is. And somehow, billions of people all believe this exact same thing at the exact same time. That shouldn't even be possible. Imagine meeting a guy at a bar who genuinely believed every single person around him was an idiot. Every coworker, every neighbor, every stranger, every driver, every politician, every customer, everyone. You would probably think he was arrogant. Maybe you would think he was completely delusional. Yet, in small ways, most of us do exactly that every single day. We walk through life constantly noticing what is wrong with everyone else. We notice the person driving too slow in the fast lane. We notice the person being slightly rude to the cashier. We notice the coworker who never seems to know what they are doing, but somehow keeps getting promoted. And every single time, our brain quietly reaches the same comfortable conclusion. What is wrong with these people? Let us say you are driving to work tomorrow morning. Someone suddenly cuts right in front of you. No signal, no warning, nothing. You have to slam on your brakes, your coffee spills a little, and your heart starts racing. Immediately, your brain creates a story. This person is reckless. They are careless. They are an entitled jerk who thinks they own the road. Simple. Case closed. You might even honk your horn or yell inside your car just to make sure the universe knows you are the victim here. But now let us flip the situation completely. Let us say you are running late for a massive meeting. You are incredibly stressed. Your phone is buzzing in the cup holder, and you are trying to navigate a tricky intersection. You change lanes a bit too quickly, and you accidentally cut somebody else off. You see them slam on their brakes in your rearview mirror? What story does your brain tell you now? You are not reckless. You are just having a genuinely terrible morning. You are not careless. You just made a rare mistake because you are overwhelmed. You are not an entitled jerk. You are just a human being trying to survive a stressful day. Notice what just happened there. Same exact action, two completely different explanations. You know your reasons. You only see their actions. And that single fact explains far more about human behavior than most people realize. When other people make mistakes, we explain it using their flawed character. When we make mistakes, we explain it using our difficult circumstances. When they do something annoying, it is because of who they are. When we do something annoying, it is because of what just happened to us. Once you see this bias, you start realizing it is absolutely everywhere. Think about your office or your last job. When a coworker misses a deadline, what do you think? You think they are lazy, disorganized, or bad at their job. You focus entirely on their action. But when you miss a deadline, it is because the client changed the brief at the last minute, or your internet went down, or your boss gave you way too much work to handle. You focus entirely on your hidden reasons. You had a valid reason. They just had an excuse. We do this with money constantly. When someone else buys a massive, ridiculously expensive truck or a designer handbag they clearly cannot afford, we judge them. We think they are insecure, materialistic, and terrible with money. They are just showing off. But when we splurge on a holiday we cannot really afford or buy a premium tech gadget we do not strictly need, it is different. We tell ourselves we earned it. We worked hard this year. We needed a break for our mental health. Our purchase is a justified investment in our well-being. Their purchase is just mindless consumerism. We even do it with our friends and relationships. If a friend texts you and says they cannot make it to your dinner plans because they are too tired, you might feel a bit put out. You think they are being flaky or unreliable. You think they do not value the friendship as much as you do. But when Friday night rolls around and you are the one who is completely exhausted from a brutal work week, you cancel without a second thought. You tell yourself that real friends understand when you need some space. You expect grace from the world while handing out judgments to everyone else. It happens on social media every single second of the day. We scroll through our feeds and see people posting political opinions or hot takes that completely contradict our own view of the world. What is our immediate reaction? We do not think, oh, that person must have had a fascinating life journey that led them to that conclusion. No. We think they are brainwashed. We think they are stupid. We think they are part of the problem. We assume that we are the ones looking at the world through a perfectly clear, objective lens, while everyone else is viewing it through a distorted mirror of ignorance. But have you ever stopped to consider that the person you think is a brainwashed idiot is currently looking at your profile and thinking the exact same thing about you? They are sitting in their living room looking at your comments, shaking their head, and wondering how someone could possibly be so blind to reality. To them, you are the background extra who does not get it. You are the problem. This brings us to a terrifying realization. Every person you judge is actively judging you back using the exact same logic. If everyone on Earth is using this exact same mental programming, then mathematically, you cannot be the only objective observer in the room. You cannot be the only one who is always justified. If everyone else is people, then to the rest of the world, you are people too. You are the bad driver in someone else's story. You are the lazy coworker in someone else's office. You are the annoying neighbor, the judgmental stranger, the hypocritical internet user. Why do our brains do this to us? Why are we hardwired to see the world so selfishly? It is not because we are evil. It is just because your brain takes a massive, lazy shortcut to save mental energy. Every single day you pass hundreds of strangers. You see the person talking too loudly on their phone on the train. You see the person fumbling with their change at the checkout counter, slowing down the whole line. You see the person who didn't hold the elevator door for you. Your brain simply doesn't have the time or energy to imagine the full story behind every stranger you meet. It is impossible to empathize with the checkout person when you are trying to get home. You don't know that the person talking loudly on the phone just got a call that a relative is in the hospital. You don't know that the person fumbling with their change is having a panic attack. Because you don't know their reasons, your brain defaults to judging their actions. It automatically turns you into the absolute main character of a grand movie, and it demotes everyone else on Earth to poorly written background extras. When the main character makes a mistake, it is a complex plot point with a lot of backstories and justifiable context. When a background extra makes a mistake, it is just bad writing. They are just an idiot designed to get in your way. But there is an even deeper reason why our brains absolutely love to look at the world this way. It gives us a little hit of satisfaction. Think about how it actually feels when you get home from a long, frustrating day and complain to your partner or your friend about how incompetent everyone else is. Think about the satisfaction of saying, work was an absolute circus today. Nobody knows what they are doing except me. It feels amazing, doesn't it? It feels cozy. Every single time you look at a crowd of people and think, look at all these mindless sheep, or look at the news and think, look at how corrupt and foolish everyone has become, your brain gets a quiet, powerful hit of validation. By lowering the moral and intellectual status of the entire world around you, you automatically raise your own status in your own mind. The weird part is that we're all playing the same game without realizing it. We have created a global civilization built entirely out of 8 billion main characters, all trapped inside their own private movies, all running the exact same software, and all looking at each other with the same quiet suspicion. We demand total empathy from the world for our own mistakes, because we know our reasons. But we refuse to give a single ounce of that empathy to the strangers around us, because we only see their actions. We treat our own lives as a delicate, complicated drama filled with nuance, while treating everyone else's life as a crude cartoon. Think about the sheer scale of this illusion. The driver you screamed at this morning went to the office and complained about the psycho on the road who honked at them for no reason. The cashier you thought was incredibly rude and incompetent went on their break and texted their family about how entitled and impatient customers have become this week. The coworker you think is a lazy slacker is currently telling their partner that they are carrying the entire department because their team is totally checked out. Every single person you judge is actively judging you back using the exact same logic. In their own minds, they are the hero. They are the reasonable ones. They are just trying to get through a difficult day, just like you. So, let us go back to that original question. Who are these people we have been complaining about our entire lives? Who is the fake person, the selfish person, the stupid person, the sheep? They do not exist as a separate category of human beings. There is no secret club of inherently bad people ruining the world for the rest of us. The people we talk about are just an optical illusion created by a brain that cannot handle the scale of the modern world. It is a ghost in the machine. And maybe that's why the world feels so divided all the time. Not because one side is good and the other side is evil. Not because one group is smart and the other group is stupid, but because every single person is trapped behind their own pair of eyes. You can hear your own thoughts. You can feel your own intentions. You can understand your own mistakes. But everyone else, you only get the highlights, the mistakes, the bad takes, the rude comments, the bad driving, the awkward moments. You get the worst 5 seconds of their day and compare it to the full story of your life. And that's a comparison nobody can win. Somewhere on Earth right now, somebody is telling a story about the most annoying person they met this week. The selfish person, the difficult person, the person who just doesn't get it. And in their version of the story, that person is you. That's the part nobody likes thinking about, because the people you've been talking about your entire life were never some mysterious group hiding out there in the crowd. They were never politicians. They were never strangers on the internet. They were never the drivers in the next lane. The truth is much stranger. Every single person on Earth thinks they're one of the reasonable ones. Every single person thinks they're the exception. Every single person thinks they're seeing the world clearly, which means the people you've been complaining about this whole time are just people, and so are you.